The small boats kept pouring out of Key West Sunday, defying the U.S. government ban on picking up the hordes of refugees in Cuba, and defying the storm clouds bearing down on them. Soon the Coast Guard was pulling some of those boaters out of the ocean, racing from one distress call to another.
How long were you in the water?
I think about 15 or 20 minutes, I don't know, because for me it's too long.
Coast Guard officials said it would take hours to size up the havoc done to the so-called Freedom Flotilla. Their repeated warnings had failed to stop it.
We were very concerned that the small vessels with the inexperienced crews, and hence our reason for trying to deter as many of these boats as possible from going. The boats are not seaworthy enough for these kind of sea conditions.
Even before the storm, some relatives also were worried, not so much about the big boats as the little ones. One young woman from Miami who is volunteering to help here said her husband learned simply how to turn on a boat, how to go forward and backward, and then set out to Cuba to pick up more refugees. As the wind and rain lashed the dock where those relatives were waiting, their anxiety could not be contained. And because the hundreds of boats had no real organization, no one was keeping tabs on all of them. Some might not even be known to be missing for days. Phil Bremen, NBC News, Key West. So many boats were coming in that the Coast Guard began ordering them to anchor offshore. There simply was no more room at the dock. New arrivals waited in near 90-degree heat, waited behind the boatloads being processed before them. Refugees arriving today speculated the Castro government is sending off as many as possible because President Carter is trying to stop the boat lift. Extra Coast Guard vessels have been called away from other parts of the country to enforce the presidential order and to look out for the safety of refugees on often overcrowded boats. Government agents continued to seize every boat returning with refugees. So many boats have been seized here that owners who live in nearby counties are being permitted to take them home. Even among Cuban Americans with family members waiting in Cuba, few were planning to defy the immigration laws again.
You're just going to have to wait. You know, I'm in enough trouble as it is, you know.
Only a trickle of boats continued toward Cuba. The U.S. government is chartering this boat and others to take the place of the illegal civilian action. But no one is predicting when or if the official sea lift will begin.
That is going to depend upon the Cuban government's acceptance of President Carter's offer.
When they named this boat the Impossible Dream, its owners were not thinking about international politics. But it looks more and more as if there's no chance the Cuban government will permit boats chartered by the U.S. government to take over the evacuation of refugees. Phil Bremen, NBC News, Key West. As the day began, an estimated 3,600 boats were strung out between Key West and Cuba. In the afternoon, severe thunderstorms pounded into the Florida Straits. The rain came in sheets. Winds were clocked at 79 miles per hour as the impromptu evacuation fleet tried to make it across 90 miles of treacherous ocean. Some boats, none of the smallest ones, made it back safely to Key West without the refugees they had been planning to pick up. Alongside the docks where nearly 3,000 refugees arrived earlier, people waited anxiously for more family members from Cuba and for the boatmen who went to get them.
We saw it now, and now it's disappearing, so they must be in the water.
One of the boatmen, the husband of Maritza Reyes of Miami.
He's out there on a 22-foot boat. He has no radio, and he has no experience. He has no idea what he's doing out there. He went to get his sister. My nerves are shattered, but I have it in the hands of God. I can't do anything about it.
Even before the weather went bad, the Coast Guard was searching for 2 refugee boats reported sinking. One was said to have 200 people aboard. Searchers did find a boat about the size of this one, capsized in an area where a refugee boatload of 10 had been reported sinking. They saw no people, just one life jacket. The boat lift has no real organization and is in defiance of the U.S. government, so no one has been keeping a list of all the boats involved. It could be days before some even are missed, and more bad weather is expected. Phil Bremen, NBC News, Key West.